Massive injury update coming out of this morning. We're finding out that a star player for the Buccaneers might be missing some time and will be missing some of training camp at the very least. So we'll be talking about what this means, how it's going to affect the rest of the team, and the plans that they're going to have to make going forward from this news. I'm Sebastian from Bucs Digest. Welcome back, guys. We hit our 100 subscribers, and now we're trying to go for the 500. So thank you all for already joining, and welcome to anyone who is just joining. Make sure to subscribe. 95% of y'all are still not subscribed to those who are watching right now, but just gotta hit the bell, hit the button, and you'll be right there with us for all Bucs news coming in. And training camp right around the corner, so you want to join us right now because it's going to get spicy. It already is. Things are already starting here with the Bucs. So what are we talking about? Because this is news. This is something. We got Bucs wide receiver Chris Godwin, who still is recovering from a dislocated ankle, will not participate in team-related activities to begin training camp. He will continue to rehab with trainers. This comes from Rick Stroud of the Tampa Bay Times. So, not exactly what we want to hear. It's obviously there's been suspicions ever since we drafted Emeka Egbuka this in the draft, which came as a bit of a shock to a lot of Bucs fans and just NFL folks around the league. We were like, okay, what's going on with Chris? Because we signed Chris in free agency pretty quickly. He turned down money to come back to us. And now all of a sudden we're hearing, okay, he's still in rehab. He's still going to be missing at least some of training camp. And this is just a start, we don't exactly know the extent of his injury or where he is in the process. Obviously, they don't want to reveal that too much because that allows teams who are going to be facing us at the beginning of the season to plan around him not being there. But, in the meantime, it also leaves us Bucs fans going like, okay, is he going to be there? What is it looking like? Because Chris, we all know, is the ultimate worker. He's always working his butt off to make sure that he's going to be on the field to be there for his team. And we all knew this when he tore his ACL, that he was going to come back strong. I mean, he came back last season, and he was leading the league in fantasy points for wide receivers before he got his injury. So it was like, okay, can we get that Chris Godwin back? Obviously, it's not going to be right away. He's taking the time he needs to heal, and we have a safety net of receivers, but this is something to pay attention to because, we don't know exactly how long the process is going to take. We also have a quote from Jason Licht, who says, "We're hopeful it's week 1 when Godwin returns, but nobody can guarantee that. We'll see how it goes over the summer, but if the situation arises where he has to sit out a couple of games, we're going to be okay. We'll be better with him, but we'll be okay. But we want to have Chris for the next 3 years." So what Jason is emphasizing here is that we want Chris here for the long run. We don't want to jeopardize putting him on the field as soon as possible just for the sake of we want to have the best wide receiver core in the league right off the bat. And then, he injures himself in week 1 or week 2 and he's out for the rest of the season. Or just he hurts himself for his career, he has 2 major injuries now, the ankle and his ACL. And we've seen that he is a great worker. He focuses on his rehabilitation process. He's a great guy, great teammate. He's always going to do what's best for the team. That's what's been kind of the moniker of the Bucs these past few years. Ever since Brady got here, really, it's become, Mike and Chris have always been this way, but ever since Brady got here, it's become a team-wide thing that everyone's selfless. Everyone's focused on the team goals. And so the culture is great. And Chris is a major part of that. So he knows that he doesn't want to jeopardize himself, but also the team by putting himself out there early and, possibly getting injured. Now, if he knows that he's ready to go by week 1 and he takes that step, then, more power to him, because that's what we want is, to see Chris out there and playing at his best. And if he feels like he's good to go, then we got to trust that. But, we also have some history of we have questions about our trainers. because we have a lot of injury history in these past few years, and a lot of teams have injury history, but especially on defense, like we just have some frustrations there about like are our trainers getting our guys ready for the season? Are they because they get injured so often? But overall, I'm not going to concern myself too much about what the NFL thinks about like, oh, this means that like the Bucs aren't going to be like nearly as good, or like Bucs are going to be without Chris Godwin for like a major part of the season. That's not the case at all. It's just a matter of, will he be there for week 1, maybe week 2? Like, we're just talking about the first couple of weeks. He wasn't even put on the PUP list, which Tristan Wirfs was. This feels like something that's going to be a lot sooner for Chris's actual return. And like we said, he might not even be gone at all. It's just that the training camp part is that he won't be participating in those activities, that he'll be, sitting out for at least that first part. And the situation will continue to develop as we go along for that. Now, what I want to talk about here, we have a certain wide receiver by the name of Jaylen McMillan. He is a player that really came to the rise last season, halfway through the season, when Mike and Chris both went out with their injuries. Jaylen had to step up because he was wide receiver 3. He was the rookie wide receiver that out of Washington that we were really excited about, and he really took the lessons from Chris and Mike as mentors and became a scoring machine more than anything. Obviously his yards, 504 yards, is nothing like crazy, but rookie season, that's fine. He's not the top receiver on the team, so it's like weren't expecting a ton of yards out of him. So to get 500,000, that's pretty good. Yards per reception is 12.5. That's really good. And he had 8 touchdowns on the season. That's awesome for a rookie season. For a wide receiver 3, 8 touchdowns, you can't be happier with that. So Jaylen is going to be there as a great safety net like he was when Chris was gone last year. So, and he'll be in year 2. He'll be even more polished. That's a lot of things to be excited about for Jaylen. Now, regarding another receiver that we acquired, under the name of Emeka Egbuka, he is going to have the opportunity now, and as a wide receiver, this is all, if Chris Godwin isn't playing, but he will have the opportunity to be a wide receiver 3, basically where Jaylen McMillan started last year, to really learn the ropes and be in a lot of starting positions, and scenarios to get those reps, so that when Chris is gone, he's kind of learning the ropes, but has, Jaylen, he has Mike Evans there to keep things, above water, while Chris is making sure that he's all good to go. And this is going to be great practice for him, especially in training camp. He's going to get more reps with the starters, with all the guys that he needs to be with. And so overall, there are a lot of positives to take out of this news. It's not doom and gloom, because it means next man up mentality. Emeka was highly touted by a lot of teams to be like their wide receiver 2s, or maybe even wide receiver 1s in the draft. So the fact that we got him as our wide receiver 4, or maybe even our wide receiver 3 to start the season, is awesome. And Mike said at the beginning of the season that this is the best wide receiver room he's been a part of, and he said that for a reason. So this means no panic from Bucs fans. Just we want to make sure our guys are healthy during this season. It's going to be a rough 4 games without Tristan Wirfs, and maybe we'll be without Chris Godwin. But we've been in these situations before. Our leadership, the guys know that they got to step up, and I have full confidence in our guys to make things happen. Chris is going to do whatever he can to be on the field, but not just as soon as possible, but make sure he's as healthy as possible so that he can contribute in the best ways, and so that he can be putting up the stats that he was putting up back in 2024, like we talked about. He was the guy. And it's just a bummer that, in that Ravens game, it was like garbage time when he went out. But he was really doing a great job of just highly efficient stats. He was, did a great job against the Lions. He did a great job against the Saints. So I'm look at that. Like, he had more yards than Jaylen McMillan, who had like a whole season, which, it says about his productivity quite a bit. And I can't wait to hear about Chris's progress, because we all love him here in Tampa, and we just know that he's going to be working his butt off, like we've been saying, to get right back. But the question is for you guys that I want to ask: what do you think about this news about Chris Godwin? Do we think that he'll be back for week 1? Do you want him back for week 1? Or are you okay with Emeka Egbuka stepping up and taking the wide receiver 3 spot to get those reps in while Chris makes sure that he is 100% healthy? So sound down below. Let me know what you think about our wide receiver room. Like I said, no panic for me, and I'm expecting the same from the rest of the Bucs fans. But overall, just send Chris your support and your love. He always hears this stuff, and he knows how much we love him. And we can't wait to see him back on the field. So, anyways, click subscribe. Stay tuned for training camp news, which is coming right this week, couple days. Rookies just came back, and veterans return tomorrow for just getting acquainted with everybody and everything. But everyone gets on the practice field on Wednesday. So that'll be when we start to see some highlight clips and all that good stuff, the stuff that the juicy stuff that gets us hyped for the season. So can't wait to see everybody on the field again, and we'll see y'all at the next video.